Hello and welcome to yet another installment of In the Zone, Millersville's student-run sports show. We have NFL talk, tempers flaring on the diamond, and later we'll dive into some odds makers with the guys. Let's get in the zone. Welcome back to In the Zone. Here's what's going on in sports. Yesterday, fans at the Nationals-Phillies game got more than they bargained for. Besides the baseball game, fans also got to witness UFC 191.5 as a fight broke out between Nationals players Bryce Harper and John Papelbon. This fight occurring in the bottom of the 8th after Papelbon made comments to Harper as Harper was returning to the dugout. Manager Matt Williams blames the fight on testosterone. The fact that the Nationals were just eliminated from playoff contention days before may have had something to do with it. Here's what Harper had to say about the fight.
He apologized, so, whatever. I really don't care. I mean, it's next 6 days and, keep doing what I'm doing. It's like brothers fighting. That's what happens, and, hopefully move forward and do what I can for the next 6 days to, have some fun and play the game.
Papelbon is being suspended for the rest of the season for that fight. Now on to the wild injury-prone world of football, and we'll start with a big injury for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Late in the third quarter, Steelers are up 9-3 when Ben Roethlisberger is going to get sacked here and goes down holding his left leg. He's later left the field when trainers helped him off and then was carted away completely. The knee injury is looking to be an MCL tear and could take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to recover. The Steelers still won the game 12-6. Another injury from this Sunday was Colin Kaepernick's bruised ego, as his pass here will be intercepted by Justin Bethel, who takes it back for a touchdown. This interception here would be Kaepernick's third on the season, but it's not the last one in this game. Another pass attempt by Kaepernick later on was intercepted by Tyrann Mathieu. Kaepernick is going to throw in this game for a total of 9 out of 19 and 67 yards. More football action for you, and Ravens and Bengals face off as Andy Dalton's going to find Marvin Jones for the touchdown here, putting the Bengals up 14-0, but the Ravens are going to answer back. A short throw from Flacco to Steve Smith is going to go long, as Steve Smith's going to make a couple of guys miss, and he's going to go for the end zone. Who says Steve Smith's too old to play football? Beyond that, later a sack is going to come in here by Elvis Dumerville. As you can see here, he's going to come off the end, and he's going to get Andy Dalton. That sack's going to cause a fumble. That ball is going to be picked up by C.J. Mosley, and Mosley's going to take it back for a touchdown. That's going to put Baltimore up 7-14. But Andy Dalton's going to get a chance at redemption here. Dalton takes the snap. He's looking back. He's going to throw it deep down the field, finds A.J. Green open. A.J. Green slips by. Defenders are cartwheeling around at that point, and he's going to go in for the score. Bengals are going to win 28-24, and Ravens are going to be 3-0 for the first time in team history. Some other results this past Sunday include Carolina beating New Orleans, Oakland over Cleveland, Houston beating Tampa Bay, Minnesota dominating San Diego, New England utterly destroying Jacksonville, and Buffalo dominating the Dolphins. The Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, and Indianapolis Colts all get their first wins of the season, while the Broncos stay a perfect 3-0 against the Lions. Now let's go to the Lynx. Jordan Spiel, currently ranked 3rd in the world, won the FedEx Cup. The win for the 22-year-old Texas native is going to come with a cash prize of $22 million. After some rocky points earlier in the year from the golfer, he came back with great success. This is what he had to say after the victory.
What this means for me this week is it's validation to the year. It's validation to these playoffs and how you can go through the lows of a season so quickly after you're so high. People can give up on you easily, and to not care about that, to worry about our own stuff, and to come into the brightest stages and perform is going to give me a lot of confidence going forward, because there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. I know it. But to be able to bounce back this quickly from the low in my season is really cool.
In other local news, Millersville football returned home to Christ Field to take on the Golden Westchester Rams. Millersville was handed by the Rams the 4th loss of their season, 48-3. Westchester ran for over 250 yards, and their All-American tight end Tim Brown found the end zone twice, showcasing the Rams' balanced attack, which is number 2 currently in the PSAC. Millersville has been outscored 123-3 in the last 2 games, and are looking for their first home win since the 13th of October in 2012. And now back to DC for our play of the game. Nats Clint Robinson up at the plate, and he hits the gap, or does he? As you can see there, Philly's Aaron Altair had a beat on it and lays out to make a spectacular catch to end the inning. Let's watch it again as Altair goes airborne to rob Robinson of extra bases. What a beautiful play there. That's going to be all our headlines for today. Next up, we'll have some good old baseball right after these commercials, and then we'll be back with some serious odds with our odds makers. In the Zone, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to In the Zone. Sunday afternoon, Bryce Harper and Jonathan Papelbon got into a physical altercation between innings in the dugout. Both have said that the issue is squashed, but do you think that this will pop up again down the road?
You know what? I'm going to say yes. It's Jonathan Papelbon. And if you haven't experienced him on your team, I'm a Phillies fan, so he was there. Every week there was a story about Jonathan Papelbon just being Jonathan Papelbon, just being stupid. And I really think if he's not with the Nationals next year, whoever gets him, he is a free agent, is going to have to deal with him being Jonathan Papelbon. I think it's an absolutely ridiculous thing that the team has to deal with, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, Papelbon has had his share of issues off the field and in the clubhouse. For many seasons, the Red Sox let him go. Phillies picked him up, and then I don't think this Bryce Harper, Jonathan Papelbon incident will become a problem down the road, because I think Papelbon will be a free agent at the end of the season. Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I mean, you go after perennial all-star like Bryce Harper and pretty much the keystone of that Nationals team, I wouldn't want him on my squad anymore. And the way he's just behaved himself on the mound, he acts like a teenager out there, a true high schooler.
He has been suspended for the rest of the season. That came out today.
Yeah, top of the 3 games for plunking Machado 4 games ago.
And I don't think he's coming back to the Nationals. And I think that whatever team does pick him up, we were talking before the show, that maybe a desperate team, a team that maybe needs a good reliever.
I think a West Coast team would probably be the best possibility.
Someone that doesn't know about his things.
Yeah, someone that haven't seen him before. And
that's for sure interesting. Dallas Keuchel is 15-0 at home this season and has become the ace in the Astros rotation over the past 2 seasons. Where is the ceiling for the young Keuchel?
You know what? Keuchel is a great pitcher. I think the Astros have found a really good pitcher in Keuchel through up their farm system. But as much as it pains me to say, I think what you're seeing right now from Keuchel is not too far off from his ceiling. If you watch some of his highlights from last year, watch him this year, there's a little bit of gain in fastball velocity. He handles himself so maturely that there's barely anywhere to go. He's such a good pitcher now. I don't know where else he can go.
Yeah, he is such a good pitcher. Now, I believe he's a shoo-in for the AL Cy Young. I mean, perfect 15-0 at home. To be undefeated for them, he's really been a key for that Astros team. I also do believe, I agree with you there, I think he hasn't peaked yet, but his peak is coming.
Oh, for sure.
He's a 3 dominant pitcher. You look at the past Cy Young winners. Pitchers have a very short window for dominance. You look at Justin Verlander, Tim Lincecum. They're still good pitchers, but they're not the perennial all-stars they used to be.
I think that's a perfect point there.
Definitely for sure. Following Keuchel's performance yesterday, the Stros pulled within 2.5 games of the Rangers for the division. Houston is up half a game up on the Angels for the final wild card spot. Can they chase down the Rangers for the pennant or hold off the Angels to get the wild card?
You know what? they're in such a weird position right now because they were so far ahead for 3/4 of the season that no one thought that there was going to be anyone challenging them at all. And the Rangers kind of have come up out of nowhere, and they've surpassed the Astros.
You know, signing Cole Hamels obviously big there too.
That's a huge move. So that's going to make it difficult for the Astros, to try and put some hits together against this pitching staff, especially for the Rangers.
I also think it's a big deal to mention that there's still a 4-game set where Anaheim, the Angels travel to Arlington, take on the Texas Rangers. So, you know, there's still a lot of fog coming from the second wild card spot and the AL West. I mean, each team is in a game and a half of each other. So it's really hard to tell where the season ends. We've seen, you know, a roller coaster postseason last year, so we might be in store for another roller coaster postseason. But, you know, I don't think this division will be decided, or the second AL wild card spot will be decided until the last 2 games or so.
And if I could add, I think it's been said over and over again this time of year in and year out, that whatever team is hot seems to be the team that does well in the postseason. I mean, the Rangers were hot before the Angels. I think if the Astros have a chance here at all, it's going to be chasing down the Rangers because the Angels are real hot and they're playing really good.
And they need to, Houston needs to turn it on right now. They have a 3-game set in Seattle, and then they travel out to Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks. Weird interleague play this late in the season, but we'll see how it unfolds.
As it looks, the Yankees are going to play the 1-game playoff. Who will take the mound for them? And who is a better matchup for them to face, the Astros or Rangers?
Well, if you're a Yankees fan like me, you're hoping the Twins pull in there. They're only 1.5 games out from the second wild card spot. And the Yankees, it depends who you want starting on the mound for that 1-game wild card spot. I think if you're facing the Astros, you want young Luis Cervino up there. He's a young guy against a young team. I think that's a nice matchup. Also, I mean, you do have Masahiro Tanaka. He's been bounced back this year after season-ending surgery. However, if Nathan Eovaldi's healthy, I think that's who they need to go with. Eovaldi's been out for quite a while now. I know he's been out for the rest of the regular season, but he said possibly could come back for the postseason. So if he is available for that 1 game, hopefully we can see him.
I agree with you. I think they need the Twins to bounce in there. I think what the Yankees really want to see right now, I think they want to see the Angels hop in there. Because if you remember back to earlier in the season, the Yankees faced Garrett Richards once this season. He didn't make it out of the first inning.
No, he did
not. He recorded 2 outs, and he gave up 6 runs. I think the Yankees really want to see the Angels drop in, and they want to face Garrett Richards again because they teed off on him the first time. I looked at some stats. The Yankees don't hit too well against Keuchel. The Yankees are hitting .206, I think, against Keuchel as a team. That's not too great.
You know, and then you have big bat from Teixeira. I mean, Greg Bird filling in, but still you're missing a big bat in that lineup.
And they're hitting a little bit better against Cole Hamels. If you're talking about the Rangers here, they're hitting .250 off of Hamels, and that's not terrible. But I think what the Yankees really want to see is the Angels drop in with Garrett Richards because once they hit them, and he's hit them before, I think the Yankees have the whole postseason to look forward to if they can beat the Angels and Garrett Richards.
Yeah, I mean the 1-game wild card game, the play-in wild card game is such a mystery. I mean, for the past 2 years, it's been weird, but I mean, it's good. It's giving 2 teams a shot.
It's going to be a really good matchup, I think, whoever we see.
Will be.
Finally, gentlemen, for this segment, which team has been the most disappointing this year?
Wow, this is such a great question to end the segment with because there's a lot of teams that you could point to. I was thinking about the Tigers and how their whole year has been a disappointment between letting up some of your great all-star players between David Price, Max Scherzer, and Yoenis Cespedes just go for not even anything throughout the whole year. But I really think the disappointment of the year has to go to the Padres, a team that made huge moves throughout the whole season. What are we looking at? Kimbrel, Uptons, Matt Kemp, Derek Norris.
Will Myers, he was a big part of that team. He got hurt for most of the year, so I mean, you could blame that on that injury.
I just think the Padres, with all the moves that they made, if you're looking at it from a baseball analyst standpoint, something that maybe we would look at it from, you knew that the Padres were kind of like disappointing to start off the season because other than those players, they had no depth. But from a fan standpoint, a season that could have been really good ended up being lackluster and really bad.
Now, if you ask me who the most disappointing team is this year, if you go back, look at the season as a whole, back at the beginning of the season, everybody made Washington Nationals as a World Series pick. I mean, they were in first place for the majority of the season, it seemed like, but just late collapses from their team, and now you have their team fighting each other. This is a team that, again, just disappoints their fans. So, I mean, I think it's clear that the Nationals have, once again, just been the most disappointing team in the MLB. You know, they don't even have a wild card spot to show for their season. So,
And I'm going to give a close third place, if we're going here, third place to the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox made some big splashes during the offseason. They came in, they made a statement by signing Sandoval, a World Series champion, someone that has proven himself time and time again. They got Hanley Ramirez, who's a big bat, maybe not so great in the field, but he's a big bat. They made a couple mistakes.
I mean, but you look at Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez, the undiscipline of them. I mean, Pablo Sandoval goes to the bathroom between innings and checks Instagram photos, and then you got Hanley Ramirez not hustling out the ball and playing lousy left field defense. I mean, you sign two guys like that with those kind of egos, what do you expect?
But think about it this way as well. When the trade deadline came and they thought they were going to be in contention and they thought they could get Cole Hamels, guess who ran away with Cole Hamels? The Rangers. Even their front office standpoint was a letdown when it came down to crunch time. I just think that there's a lot of teams this year that need to reassess what they're doing and come back next year and say, all right, it's go time.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting offseason. A lot of teams going to make some moves, but I mean, who isn't excited for the postseason this year? Going to be a wild postseason, and winding down September is going to be interesting.
I think I'm really looking forward to seeing the Cubs there. That's got to be the highlight this season. It's the Cubs being in the postseason finally.
Maybe my grandparents will finally see the Cubs win the World Series after all.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this baseball segment. We'll be right back with In the Zone continues. Coming up next, we'll have Odd Makers.
Hello and welcome back to In the Zone. We are here with our odds makers today. We're going to discuss some of the chances in all of sports to see what's going to happen possibly in the future. And we're going to start with the NFL, and we're going to start with the currently 0-3 Ravens. They're going to be facing the Steelers next week. Do the Ravens go 0-4?
Absolutely not. They're facing like we said, a Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers. How do they go 0-4 against a Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers? They have to win. They're 0-3. I don't understand why we're thinking they're going to go 0-4.
I mean, just because they don't have Roethlisberger doesn't mean they don't have a stacked offense. I mean, you still have Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown leading that offense. And Michael Vick, who could be still one of the fastest QBs in the NFL. I mean, you have a lot of open options. The Steelers' defense was a little rough the first year against the Patriots, leaving Gronkowski wide open. However, they did show some resurgence last week against the Rams. So, I mean, it could go either way, but I see the Ravens going 0-4.
Interesting.
So, 100% chance.
I really don't think so. I really don't think that Mike Vick can get. When was the last time he ran an offense in a live game situation?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you.
Exactly. I just think the Ravens are coming in and they're hungry, they're ready to win, and they're going to jump all over this opportunity.
Well,
They're hungry.
as hungry as they are for that win, because of course 0-3. This is the first time that they've ever been 0-3 at this point. So honestly, I think I'm going to have to agree that they're definitely going to lose to the Steelers, because the Steelers there's too many offensive weapons there, and the Ravens, I mean, they lost to the Raiders. That was an embarrassing game for them, and they're just not looking good this season. But we're going to move on. Hold up that argument for a second. What is the chance that Aaron Rodgers wins the NFL MVP this season?
0? You know what? I'll give him 1%. I just think there's so many games left. It's a long season. I just don't think that you can give it away right now.
Yeah, I mean, MVP. I mean, might as well make Super Bowl predictions already. I mean,
which has happened.
Which has happened on every show, every sports show. But I mean, you can't make an MVP case yet for anybody. I mean, it's that early in the season.
And since there's a large Eagles demographic, I'm going to make everyone real happy and say the Eagles go on a straight tear and Darren Sproles wins the MVP. How about that? He gets 5 more punt return touchdowns of 80 yards or more.
I'm actually going to agree with that. I think that Darren Sproles winning MVP is a much higher chance than Aaron Rodgers. I know you put Aaron Rodgers at 1%. What would you put Darren Sproles at percentage-wise?
5%.
5%?
Higher than Aaron Rodgers.
So you heard it here. Darren Sproles has a 1 in 20 chance of winning the NFL MVP. That is amazing. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one, a personal favorite of mine. Does the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think so at all. I think having Tony Romo out for too long, I think that's going to hurt them. I think the Eagles are going to sneak up on them and take the lead here.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think this division, it could be the new NFC South. So many teams just struggling here to start the season. I mean, you have the Redskins who just are not getting off to a good start. Never
Absolutely
really have
not.
been. I mean, the Eagles still have this division's wide open. I mean, the Cowboys could win it. The Eagles could win it. It's really, I think, the most wide open division in all of football.
And like you said earlier in the show, the division-prone NFL. I mean, looking at the Cowboys, who are injury-prone. It really. I mean, it could go either way, like you said. There's so much left up to stake in this division.
It really is.
And despite the Cowboys coming out with a very hot start, of course, they did lose a lot of key players in their offense. So put in a percentage for us. What's the percentage chance the Cowboys win?
I'm going to say 35% that the Cowboys come away with the division win.
I'm going to go 24%.
24%?
Where did that number come from?
I was watching 24 earlier.
Okay, good call. Good call. I like that.
So does your 24% mean that the NFC East is still up for grabs for anyone at this point?
Pretty much, 100%.
Well, you might as well just make it 20% for everybody.
Yeah, 25% for everybody.
And make it 20 and then leave.
How many teams? There's 5 teams? Or
Yeah,
4
and then
teams?
leave it that some team joins mid-season and then takes it.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point we're looking at somewhere between 35 and 20% chance that the Cowboys win their division, and a 20% chance that another team's going to join the NFC East midway through the season.
It's like the Weather Channel.
Okay, so let's get away from all this NFL talk. Let's move on to a little bit of baseball since we are entering the postseason. First question is: do the Pirates jump over the Cardinals and claim the Central Division?
Well, Yadier Molina was just shut down for the rest of the regular season.
That he was.
But we were just saying that Yadier Molina will play in the postseason. You can't not play him. But I do think that there's some pieces missing on the Cardinals that make them big team players. I do think the Pirates jump over the Cardinals. I think that they sneak it from behind and they take it.
I wouldn't. It's still up in the air. I mean, there's a 3-game set. The weird thing about a 3-game set in baseball is you're either going to gain 3 games or you're either going to gain 1 game.
Yeah, there's
because you're either going to win 2 of them and the other team's still going to keep a game on you, or you just got to go for the straight sweep. I see it very hard for the Pirates to get the sweep against the Cardinals this upcoming week. I mean, it would shake things up. It would make it interesting. I would like to see it, but I just don't think their pitching has been there, and their offense has been kind of quiet lately.
Okay, and of course, we're going to find out the answer to that. Of course, the Pirates play the Cardinals tonight, in fact, and also Tuesday and Wednesday as well. And just to move on to our next question, do the Kansas City Royals make it back to the World Series?
Yeah, I had them in the World Series, I think, since day one. I think that they have a superstar team, a superstar pitching staff, and I think that they play a certain style of game that's very unique to their team alone, and I think that that's what gets them to the World Series. That's what got them to the World Series last year, and I think that they could get there again this year.
Like we always say, it's whoever's hot. So whenever September rolls out and October comes full swing, we'll find out who the hottest team in baseball is, and that's probably who's going to take the crown. But I see the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series for the American League. Okay, quickly, we're running out of time. So then, what's the percentage chance that the Royals are there battling for the World Series? Percentage chance that they make it all the way? I'm going to say 37% because there's still a good opportunity. I think I give them a 75% chance to make it to the championship series, but I don't see them getting past the Blue Jays. Okay, you heard it here. The Kansas City Royals, 37% chance of making the World Series. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have here for today. This was In the Zone, and from myself and every other member of In the Zone here, make sure you guys have a good night and watch a lot of sports.